But if they haven't been in an authority position of being there, done it, did it, doing it actively in that particular role for that particular type of thing or business, I would be very cautious to spend too much time with them or pay for a
Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
Welcome back, and what's up? Hope you are all doing well. Welcome to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we are all geared towards educating, motivating, and preparing you to take action in real estate investing, whether that's starting a new business, growing, scaling. We're showing you how to get funding to do it at Credit Counts Elite, and I couldn't be more excited today. God put a word on my heart to be able to share with you guys, and I came up pretty effortlessly. I feel like I could come up with a whole damn book on this, but talking about business, I want to talk about what's actually working right now and what's not working within your business right now. So what's working and what's not working within your business right now. And you could either have a thriving business that you're running successfully, or, you've been going through the trenches through your business and having the ups and downs, which is okay, or you are just starting. And even if you just have ideas right now, this is going to be for you specifically, because the person that has been going through the trenches and they're determined to succeed and they're just failing forward, then this is they're going to succeed one way or another, in my opinion. Somebody that does it for 10, 20, 30 years, even if you just keep on smashing your face in the dirt each and every time, eventually you're going to fail forward into success. So that it's not for somebody that's procrastinating. What I really want to share with today, I still think there's going to be valuable notes, by the way. So don't tune out right away just because you're like, oh no, I've been doing this for a while and I'm okay getting my face punched in each time. I still think there's going to be a lot of gold nuggets here for you. For the other people that have been having goals, dreams, ideas, wanting to get started, not really know where to begin. In addition, this is really for this avatar right here. In addition, you feel confident and you're just getting started, you're just about to get the ball rolling. This is specifically for you. And the reason why it came to my heart is because I've been having more and more people that I'm running into asking questions and trying to get mentorship and coaching guidance on this season in their life of just starting. God put something on their heart to start, build, and eventually scale. And I'm asking them about their business plan and what they're doing and what their goals are. And full transparency, myself looking back then when I first got started, 2015, almost, 10 years ago, I don't know if I would have confidently been able to give you the whole roadmap, so it's okay if that's you as well. If you don't have the roadmap, it's okay. However, I can look, and as I hear some of the things that are coming out of their mouth, I'm like, I don't want to be negative at all. I never want to hold anybody back, but I also think about Shark Tank, and I think about Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, and I start realizing he's very brutally honest and blunt, and he's going to call it how he sees it. This is going to fail if you keep doing it this way. With what you have in mind, it will fail. And some of us need to fail, and you will fail. It's okay. It's part of the game, but at least get knocked down and then get back up and learn from your mistakes, right? You only truly fail, quote unquote, when you give up. And some of us may need to give up. Or change pivots, learn from these mistakes. Okay. So I don't want this to be negative or pessimistic by any means. When there's a will, there's a way. I've always been very optimistic with that. And it's on, my wristband. When there's a will, there's a way. And so I just want to make sure that you have the tools necessary to really succeed with best chances possible. Because again, even with all those tools and education and guidance and learning and surrounded circle mentorship, it's you will still make mistakes. You will still fall. Ideally, it's not as much of a crash as it could be on your own, and that you can pivot and quickly do things to make it less impactful in a negative way. Okay. So with all that being said, though, if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, make sure you are following us first off on all social media platforms. Check out Credit Counsel Elite or Brandon Elliott Investments. In addition, make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button to the podcast so you get the new episode reminder every single Monday when the new episode drops. And after hitting that subscribe button, if you could listen to a few episodes, leave that 5-star review. I would greatly appreciate it. It gives me the momentum and the encouragement to keep going. We've been doing this for 6-7 years now, and I never miss an episode every Monday. So grateful for all the people and lives we've been able to bless and impact, and the feedback. You guys keep it coming. It means the world to me. So greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys, all the subscribers out there. With that being said, let's just jump right into it. Okay, there's a lot to be said when it comes down to what's working and what's not working within your business right now. And I put this 1 to 10. So if you have something to write down with, if you're driving, soak it up, listen to it later, and write it out as you go. These 10 are in no particular order, but I'd like to say that it's in order. Okay. So it's no particular order, but there's some math to it. Okay. So let's play around with it. And if you have any questions on it, as always, DM me, reach out. Would be glad to give my 2 cents on it, give your feedback. And again, there could be so many more levels to this, and we could break down each and every piece to this and talk about it in further detail. But for the sake of the podcast, your time, your attention, and your busy schedule, I want to be able to get to the meat and potatoes of this. Okay. So number 1, you having a detailed plan or not at the end of the day, or do you actually have a plan? Most people don't have a plan. They have a rough plan. Worse is if what you believe to be true in your head, it doesn't even make sense. Like if you think, I'm just going to do this, is it really going to be setting you up for success? And secondly, would you actually buy it? Whatever you're selling, would you buy it? And take yourself out of this. Everything that I'm about to tell you, make sure that you're taking your biased opinion, that you're addicted to that thing, that vehicle, that investment, that opportunity. What it's done for you could be one in a million. It still sparked something in your heart because it helped you, it changed you, you got excited about it. How many other people are going to feel that same type of impact? And at the end of the day, whatever you're selling for the price and everything, would they buy it? It doesn't make sense, right? Have you asked others for their actual feedback on this? And if for example, I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like the pickleball champion. And so just crushing it in pickleball, and they love it. But pickleball is like a newer thing in Southern California. It's everybody and their grandmother's been pickleball in the last couple of years and loving it. I don't know if that's a nationwide thing. I don't know. I would assume it's probably more of a California, Southern, San Diego type of thing, maybe. And maybe it started usually, from my understanding, a lot of things from West Coast start there, and then it actually starts going East Coast over time. So maybe it could be maybe it's riding the wave of this right now. But if you're serving so many people and you're charging $100 an hour to charge them for a lesson, have you gotten any feedback on, why do they do this? Why are they interested in paying more? Are they interested in paying less? What would get them excited about spreading the word and so forth? And have you requested surveys back from people? At the end of the day, what do you actually have a detailed plan of how you're going to work this out? And are you seeking wisdom and guidance from mentors that have already been there and done it? And if you are, make sure that those individuals, because there's a lot of people that are life coaches and all types of things. And I'm not dogging that. I think everybody has some type of wisdom within them that can teach and guide, right? But if they haven't been in an authority position of being there, done it, did it, doing it actively in that particular role for that particular type of thing or business, I would be very cautious to spend too much time with them or pay for a certain amount. What I would say is the more time, the better. And also making sure that that it just makes sense, right? Like what they're the guidance that people are pouring into you on this, make sure that you're taking it with a grain of salt and you're doing your own feedback. You're doing your own due diligence. You could take all types of feedback and information, just like this podcast, like soak it up, but also listen to a dozen other podcasts. Also get wisdom from so many others, and then put your own spin to it, your own secret sauce to it. Like I just pray that one small little nugget hits you with something that you're like, oh, didn't think about that. Somebody didn't say this. I didn't put these two together, and it just aligns with the missing pieces to the puzzle, if you will. But if you do not have a detailed plan or mentorship and guidance for this, like, is it truly going to be setting you up with your whole process for success? Number 2, you must be passionate and clearly be able to explain your business within 10 seconds or less to be able to grab the other person's attention. If you're speaking to your avatar, are you going to be able to hit them with the elevator pitch with clarity, with boldness, with structure, with getting them to be like, what? Yes. And they should be asking you questions afterwards, and have that of like, wow, I can't believe you found me at this time in my life when I need this. If they are your avatar. And if so, they should be asking you afterwards certain buying questions. They should be asking you clarifying buying questions afterwards, and not just price, but like buying questions afterwards of like, well, how does this work? This is going to actually serve me. This is going to help solve my problems. This is going to feel good. Like this is what I've been looking for. Like, oh, I tried all these other things. It didn't work. How is it different? Like they should be asking these type of things to be able to start positioning themselves to buy from you. And if you can't get them to that moment, you're either not talking to the proper avatar, or worse, and more commonly, number 2, is that you simply don't know how to deliver what the heck you do in a fashionable manner to be able to get them excited or clarity behind, wait, what do you do exactly? Like, what? I'm confused. How does that relate to me? Like, if they can't relate to it, then how are they going to be able to actually be interested in it, right? And so when you're networking, you're not always talking to somebody that's going to be exactly your avatar, but ideally you are speaking to people that would get excited and somebody that you could overall serve. And you should always try to find within your business a way for you to speak to somebody and find the common connection for them to resonate with it and actually be somewhat of a buying customer down the road in some form or fashion. And if it's not them, then who do they know? And how can you spark that relation and connection for them to actually be interested? Number 3 is going to be related towards how you actually price it out, your investment behind it, right? You can either be the best within the industry. You could, and this is all good stuff right here. Number 3 is you could either be the best, you could be the cheapest, you could be the most convenient, right? Like solving some type of big problem, or just like easy access to, right? Like Amazon deliver, get it in a couple hours, within 24 hours, something like that. Like, Amazon Prime type of thing. Or you could even have a good feeling that's associated with buying, such as like a nonprofit or a for-purpose business. Like I have the option to either buy a banana from this shop for $1 or a banana from this shop from $1, but every dollar or every banana that they sell at this one, they donate a banana to somebody in need type of thing. Like, why wouldn't, if it's the same banana, then why wouldn't you go to the for-purpose business that's actually supporting making a greater impact? Does that make sense? It's like, if you can connect a good feeling associated with it, then that's even better. Or it's just a combination of some of those, right? So it's either you be the best, you be the cheapest, you be the most convenient solving a problem, or you're actually presenting a good feeling attached to it. And having a combination of all the above can really set you up for success. People complain from time to time for all different reasons, right? But, when it comes down to contractors, you're either looking for quality, quickness, like speed, right? Or the overall price. They say you're never going to be able to get all three. So try to aim for two and pray to God you get it. But at the end of the day, it's the same type of thing. Like at Credit Counsel Elite, people complain sometimes about the investment to get started. And, if they ever say price, I always correct them. It's like, it's not a price. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get, right? And so this is an investment that first off is a tax write-off, right, for your taxes. It's also an investment in yourself to show that you got skin in the game. It also weaves out anybody that isn't serious about their financial future. And it gets us to work with cream of the crop business owners that actually really desire something bigger and better and are tired of trying all the other things that aren't working, right? And then lastly, just actually we only have so much time, only so much support that we can give. So how do we dial in with the people that really want this and willing to pay a premium for it? Because we get premium results. Our value is top notch. And so we're not the cheapest, but we are the best. And I truly do believe that. And it's because I've worked with people nationwide that are now coaching some of this stuff. And some of even the high level people that I believed in and like really, I know they only do one piece of the pie. We do all of it. One piece of the pie, I believe like these guys are some of the best in their space. They have it very close, However, they've come to me. They've come to me and asked for guidance and help on this stuff. So I know that we have, and our results don't lie from it. And so that's why if you can associate a couple things, and we are a for-purpose business as well. So 10% right off the top, anywhere from really 12 to 18% we give to different nonprofits that we believe and support in. And so we know that combination right there, we're dealing with the best people, we're providing the best results, and they get an incredible ROI from it. So it makes sense. And then we are a for-purpose business. So, how do you actually work that in within your space? That pickleball example that I was giving, and this goes back to the number one, like lack of planning. This individual wants to stop doing it so much in person. He's worked with maybe 100 people over the last several years, never got a survey, worked with 100 people, charges $100 per session. I don't know how many working with on a weekly basis, maybe a small handful, right? Now wants to take it all digital and learn online and show more people, help out more people, but wants to charge $5,000. And it's like, that's cool, that's good to be the premium, but how many people are actually going to be paying that? How many people are willing to pay that? Have you asked your current people, that your current clients, like they get one-on-one time with you for $100? What would make them want to do it all online for $5,000? It's a big premium. It's a little different, don't you think? How many people are you actually going to be able to serve that way? And is there a professional level to it? Does that make sense? So it's like, you got to have a clear plan. And does this make sense? And would you actually buy? Would you buy your own product? And try to take yourself out of it so that you don't have that biased opinion to it. Because of course you would buy. You're the one that's selling it. You're like, yeah, of course. But put yourself in the other person's shoes for a second. For the other avatar, even if they didn't clearly understand, if they just had a fraction of the understanding of what you're trying to portray to them and the benefits, how this could save them money, make them money, and so forth, or whatever, like how it's going to solve their problems and set them up for a better experience, would you buy or would they buy? You know what I mean? So I think that's very important. Number 4 is not having a budget and thinking that you got all the money in the world to be able to blow on this situation and that you'll overall just be fine. That is not the case. And firsthand, full vulnerability here. In the past, I used to say, look, I got millions of dollars in credit lines. I'm Gucci. I'm good. I can, worst case scenario, I know how to fix credit. I have millions in credit lines. I'll solve problems by pumping money into the business and keep just pumping it up. We're good. But I'm not going to be stupid with my money though either. If I'm not getting an ROI on it and I can't pay it back, I don't go into debt or unsensible debt. That's a big difference between me and a lot of people that we see and help out. they will start businesses with the wrong plan, the wrong intention. And if they say, well, I got credit lines, I'll just do it like this. You must make an ROI on that, or else even if it's 0%, it's 0%, not for eternity, but for a period of time. And so you must have backup plans to be able to pay it off and to be able to get out of it and make an ROI. Otherwise, you're like, if you can't be good with your own money and the own money that you steward, down the road, as you grow and scale a business, you have to raise capital. You have to work with other investors. That's how you grow a $1 billion company. Even, a couple, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 million company. It's like you usually have to bring on investors and grow and scale. And if you can't be a good steward with your own funds, your own credit, your own cash, then how could you ever do it with somebody else's? So you got to have respect for that and respect the dollar and make sure that you are getting an ROI from everything that's going out. So at the end of the day, in the past, like even just, 6, 7, 8 months ago, I was, as we were running into certain issues with marketing or just business in general, my solution to it is, we need more leads to be able to get on our sales calendar, to be able to help out more people. Cool. I'll just pump more money into it. And so it went to $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a month on just marketing ad spend. But the numbers are still off. You know what I'm saying? And so if you do that for long enough, you're going to have a failing business and it will cripple you. And so make sure that you have a budget in place that's associated with your goals. You should have, we brought in a CFO to be able to give us clear guidelines on what our end goal is, because I'm very good at understanding the end goal. Cool. Now, how do we backtrack it? And if we want to make, for easy numbers, $6 million a year, that's $500,000 a month. Okay, so if it's $500,000 a month, then from month one, are we going to actually get 500,000 each month? It's just 500,000. No, you otherwise you're just stagnant. Nobody likes to be stagnant. That's not good. You want to grow slow and steady. And so what that looks like is it's a slow rolling, uphill scale throughout the months, throughout the whole year. And so you're going to be building and growing ideally. And so you should have, maybe it's 300 something the first month of the year. And then the next, it starts building just a little bit more, 20, 30, 40,000 more. And over time, at the end of, the 12 months, you're getting closer to 6, 7, 800,000 a month. Like these are more realistic. It's more optimal. It's setting up with realistic, true expectations so that you're growing and scaling and pushing. And there's new levels, there's new seasons, there's new pushback. There's, as you punch through one ceiling and learn from how to do this, getting to the next level, it's going to be difficult. You may get some pushback. And so you need to learn how to adjust that. And so it's a tug, and pull type of situation. But understanding, having a budget and making sure that you dial that stuff in. Again, going back to this one gentleman, he mentioned, well, I just came from the corporate world and I got a good exit and I have some extra money just sitting around. And so like, I'm good. I wasn't even thinking about that. And it's like, well, how good are you, bro? Or are you like you sitting on a billy? You sitting on $1 million that you're just going to toss around? Like, what do you even if you are, it would be such a sin because you have no other guidance, no other plans. You're going to piss that away. So I pray that you don't have too much, because maybe I pray that it's locked up somewhere in some investment account that, it's not going to play around with it too much, if that makes sense, because otherwise it could really hurt you more than help. And so make sure that if you have a budget in place, you also have boundaries and you have goals to aim for. And so if you're off a certain amount, you can readjust each and every month, each and every week, whatever you need, each and every quarter to be able to set you up to actually still stay on track with your goal. But again, if you don't have a goal, and it's a loose ended goal, it's not detailed enough. And so you got to focus on that. Number 5 is unrealistic timeframes. And when will you actually quit? Okay. You don't always need to quit, right? But because you will fall down multiple times, but do you actually have a plan in place that how long are you truly going to give this? Going back to that individual, he said, well, I'm going to give it 1 month. 1 month. you're going to give it 1 month to succeed. Now I know you have no plan, no budget. You're going to give it 1 month. Like you're totally winging it. 1 month, it comes down to that millennial type of mindset of like overnight success on social media. Not the case. Not the case at all. It is definitely going to take more than 1 month for anything. It's just, unless you're taking out the trash. But at the end of the day, it's making sure that you have more realistic timeframes associated with it. But it is good that you end up putting something in place like, cool, I'm going to do this real estate thing. I'm going to give it a full 12 months. I'm going to give it a full 2 years. And I'm going to dial in all these things to be able to take place. But I'm going to do it as if I only had half the time. And this allows me to give me the confidence and the courage to like, hey, I'm going to pressure myself. I only have half the time, but I am going to give that additional time just for unexpected circumstances in life and mistakes and pushback. And I'm going to adjust as I go, and I'm going to give it my all. But then after that, I'm not going to waste any more time if it doesn't take place by then. I'm going to pray on it through the time frame, and I'm going to adjust as time goes, and I'm going to switch to something else if need be. Okay, but yeah, I just think it's so important at the end of the day, like having some realistic timeframes that are attached to it. And if this happens or not, or doesn't happen, or if you lose too much and you aren't hitting certain numbers, then what? Like what's going to actually take place? Or is it just a do or die type of, burn all ships type of mindset? And is that okay with your current responsibilities? It's okay. I love the mindset of burn all ships because it's a do or die situation. But also ask yourself, is that responsible? Is that responsible? Or is it just respectable? Okay. Is the burn the all ships type of mindset when you have a family, when you have kids, when you have a roof over your head, when you have, you need whatever, the bare minimums, and you don't have a backup plan, is burning all the ships. Like if you have a clear path, if you have a clear goals, if you have backup plans to still succeed, I wouldn't say backup plans to like pivot because that's not burning all the ships, but is it okay for the current responsibilities that you have taken on in your life to be able to say, hey guys, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm doing. And we're burning all ships. And if times get horrible, this is what it's going to look like. Even having that conversation with them. Most people don't. They're just doing it themselves and they're risking all these other things. And that pressure, that pain is just too much. And so is it responsible to do that? Or is it just respectable? Respectable because it's like, yeah, anybody can say, wow, like I respect his grind, his hustle, his ambition, and his drive to actually do this. But unfortunately, it's at the consequence of his responsibilities for his family, for his house, for, his kids that he brought into this world. It's like, are you just being naive and more ego driven? And it's a tough pill to swallow, but we see it day in, day out with certain individuals. And again, I would never be the person to like talk you off of out of starting something new, growing, following your heart, praying on it, and like feeling like, hey, God's telling me to do this, then do it. But at the end of the day, just be prepared. Make sure you're getting true wisdom, true guidance, and it isn't an ego thing. It's not a naive thing. Like you have real plans, and ideally you have that real tough conversations prior to going all in and burning ships behind you and say like, hey family, I know I'm responsible for all you guys. I know I did this and I just want your blessing and I want your approval because this isn't a team thing. It's no I in team. I know I'm leading this team, but I need to ask, is it okay that I get your permission to chase this? And I feel like you got to sell it to them, but also tell them this is how bad it could get, and hopefully it never does. Like, cause this is how good it could get as well, but anyway, I just think it's important to be more structured on the overall timeframes, right? Number 6 is, do you actually know your KPIs? Are you even tracking KPIs? Do you know what a KPI is? Key performance indicators, right? I joined a mastermind several years ago, and so many people in there were just like clueless, just like myself, about KPIs. KPIs? What KPIs? I have a business. It's like, if you're not actually tracking your KPIs and the data that's coming in, you're not making data-driven decisions, and therefore you're winging it. You are just gambling and winging it. You don't need to make gambling decisions. You need to make calculated, data-driven decisions. Okay. And so it's really, really important to do this and not screw this up. And I'm speaking to myself right now because we have a boatload of data. We have a boatload of KPIs. Each department is overwhelmed with KPIs that they have. It's important to solidify and just have a small handful of KPIs that are the top dog ones that you want to pay attention to the most, each department as well as leadership. And then after that, if any of those are off and they're outside of the range where our comfortability and our goals are, if they're outside of that in a negative way, then you pivot. You go down the rabbit hole and look at that department, and you open it up a little bit more. Why is it like this? Cool. And then you find the areas where it's lacking or issues are popping up that you might have not realized. And with all of that data, you can make data-driven decisions. And so I'm speaking to myself because all of our departments, we have a lot of data, more than the average person, I would say. I would believe this is the feedback we've gotten from many mentors in the past. And so, which is good, but sometimes it's also complicated because so many numbers, what do we actually focus on? So leadership level, we are redesigning and redoing in this moment right now. And I feel confident because all of my teams feel confident. All my leadership teams, all the divisions, they feel confident in the KPIs and their numbers. And I see them hitting their goals. And so that's good, but it's not good enough if I, the leader, the CEO, doesn't have clear insight. I could get any of these numbers from any of my guys, but I need to see it like that in 2 seconds on my phone, on my own, individually. And I need to know why it does what. And truthfully, I'm not fully there yet. And which is okay, but it's really not okay. At least my guys understand each of theirs. And again, I hire on amazing individuals around us that are way more intelligent and highly qualified, and they're crushing it. So that's a good thing. But it's also, as the leader, you need to start tracking your KPIs and have your detailed numbers in place. And it could be very simple and use ChatGPT to kind of design those at first for you, or it could get very aggressive and you're tracking and split testing everything, but it is important to have KPIs and make data-driven decisions, because if you aren't doing that, you really don't have a business. You don't have a business, and it's just a matter of time. You might have made good decisions in the past. You might be only looking at the income coming in and maybe, probably not, if you're not paying attention to KPIs, you're probably not looking at the money going out. You're just looking at the balance at the end of the month. I got more money in there the last month. Woo, good. It's like, and that's just that type of mindset is just a hustler. You're just hustling. You're just doing whatever it takes to be able to put more money in the bank account. And while that's okay, and that's a season, and we all start off potentially as hustlers, how you turn into a CEO is focusing on your KPIs and building out true systems around it. Speaking of which, number 7, I put as EOS. EOS there's a book on it, Traction, Rocket Fuel. It's by Gene Wick, I think. Anyway, look that up if you know nothing about it. It's the Bible basically for business, and you can hire on a EOS implementer in the future. They guide you, they support you, they help build up your team. You get a lot of clarity, you get a lot of understanding. You know how to put on a meeting, you know how to hold each other accountable. It's not just winging it. You're not wasting time anymore. You have goals, you have drive, you have vision, you have clarity. The rest of the team does as well. And so you tighten all these things up and you have a well-ran, oiled ship. You know what I mean? And so I recommend it because it has changed our business entirely in a incredible way. And I think I wouldn't start any other business in the future or run anything else differently without EOS. So I do 100% recommend that. All right. Number 8 is going to be, how are you bringing in and nurturing your leads? In a day and age where everyone is tired of overpromises and underdelivers. So it's important to realize, how are you actually going to get new leads? Are you marketing, or are you paid marketing, organic? Are you doing social media? Everybody should be doing social media, but are you doing like signs on the ground, on the billboards? Are you doing word of mouth? Are you doing affiliate programs? Are you doing door to door? Like, how are you getting in front of people to let them know this is good for you? This is what you need. This is your, I'm your solution type of thing. How do you do that? There's millions of ways to market. But again, the last 5+ years, probably longer, 5 to 7+ years, there's been a just stigma in the air. Everybody's over-promising nationwide. People are tired of it. People are frustrated with it, and they're under-delivering, and it's annoying, and it's people just want the truth. They want the rawness. They want what works. And unfortunately, a lot of people, it's not sexy. It doesn't necessarily sell it when you say, well, if you show up and take action, you'll get the results. Or at least we're confident that you'll get the results, because we know everybody that has shown up and the data that we have from it, people get these type of results. The average is this, the low end is this. Are you okay with the low end? Don't just sell them on everybody that's doing the best, the high end, the 1% within your space. Sell them on the low end stuff and wow them with the above and beyond that. That's a good approach to be able to get people to really be like, wow, this is incredible. You promised me, these results, and instead you got 4 times that amount. I wasn't expecting that at all. Like, what the heck? Am I the exception? Am I like the golden thing? No, that's just how we run our business. That is something that would really get people stoked and excited. And over time, you can boost up your prices because of that, if you choose to. But really staying within that pocket really helps make sure that, people are more likely to take more action faster. If you have more guarantees or pledges, or you're willing to go above and beyond so that people aren't screwed over anymore. Because that's, a lot of people are just on the fence for a lot of things anymore because they're tired of all the BS out there. They want to get down to the meat and potatoes. So I do encourage, how are you actually focusing on these leads? Make sure you have an understanding of that and how you're going to get an ongoing amount so that the pipeline never dries out, but that you can actually nurture them properly and set them up for success, whether it's text blast, email blast, you have a CRM to be able to house everybody. How are you staying in front of them and guiding them and giving them the 7-10, touches before they feel comfortable to actually buy? And, with direct mail, you have to mail 7-10 times before somebody actually purchases or calls you and say, for the first time, and so it's important to identify that and realize it in advance. Number 9, what is the customer's journey? What's their experience look like? And overall, be vulnerable and open for improvements, but without putting your biased opinion in the middle of it. Put yourself in the customer's shoes and fight for systemizing and simplifying processes for quick wins and overall customer satisfaction. See, this is, again, another thing that for fulfillment purposes, after somebody buys, how do you deliver on something to make them a raving fan that you went above and beyond in sales in the beginning, acquisition? You promised this, but at closing or finalizing, fulfillment, you gave this above and beyond. It's like you want to make them a raving fan and get them stoked about the service and just like jumping for joy, because the expectations was like mediocre, and it would have been good. It would have been satisfying because that's what they were sold on. They paid for it and they're like, yeah, I can trade money for this type of result. Cool. But then you got double or triple or whatever. Then you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting it. Now it's a whole nother level of thinking. It's a whole nother world to them. And so, that it makes it like their best day ever. And if you can do that, and that's that fine line. If you can do something like that, then you can really get word of mouth spreading like crazy and just start blowing up the brand overall. But you got to put yourself in the customer's shoes and get the biased opinion out of it. Don't fight with the consumer of like, if they're saying all this sucks or whatever, it's like, listen to their feedback. Try to put yourself in their shoes for a second. How do we actually simplify this? How do we systemize this to make a easier process for them so that they get quick wins and overall just grow and climb this customer satisfaction? How do you do that? And it's hard pill to swallow when you have people complaining and so forth, but nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. So, and sometimes you're just meeting people at a tough, bad day, and sometimes they'll take it out on you. And, that's part of the entrepreneur journey. It's like, you got to be some people's stepping stool. You get also praised up by other people that you help change their life. And you celebrate the wins for those for like 2 seconds because you're like checking it off a box of like, well, cool, we did one. We got one today. We got 2, 3 today. That's great. Like we made them happy. Cool. That was what our goal was. So check it off. Great. Whew. But then we had one person that was a pain in the ass and says, we should go to hell. It's like, well, that doesn't feel good. And you dwell on those negative things and it doesn't feel good, but you still got to listen to them and try to figure out where does it come from and how do you get in front of it next time to give better expectations, clearer understanding, and overall meet them where they're at if possible, and separate like, issues in life and so forth, and just like, how do we get you excited about this and how do we get you winning with this? And if it's not systemized, if it's not improved upon these processes, then you're going to get more and more of it, and that's not fun for anybody. So you want to have something that you're proud of. You want to have that business, that baby of yours, like proud to be able to serve everybody and really show up in a powerful way. And then last, it's all about elevate and delegate. And so when you're hiring on, you must have detailed scope of work prior for overall less turnover and so forth. So, mistakes that we made when I was first hiring on people, we had a bunch of people kind of like word of mouth spread it because we did a great job. We charged little and we got a great, incredible job for people. And everybody was like, what? Just like I was saying, like people were shocked that we got those results because we really undervalued ourselves and we said, we may be able to do this, just 1 or 2 negative things removed. Cool. And then they're like, what? You clean my score? Like scoreboard. I didn't even think that was even a possibility. It did what? This is incredible. Like tell everybody and their grandmother. And then they're like, hey, and by the way, can I work for you? Or it's like, hey, can I work for you? Like all these things. And it's like, and as the word of mouth starts building up and you have all these leads coming in, you're only one person or 2 people, or like it's a small band that you're working with here to be able to grow this business. It's important to start hiring out and systemizing. The problem is I would hire on people because I'm only just one person. I'm trying to do all these things. I wasn't great. I'm more of a visionary person. I'm not an integrator or like I'm a good shot caller. I could tell somebody like, hey, this is the problem. Here's a solution, get it done, do it. The problem is most people don't work well like that and take orders that well or can, finish the job like that. So especially when they're coming into something new, that's why before hiring anything, you got to get a clear expectation of what the job role is, timeframes, what they do, who do they report to. And you also oversee them. You show them, you teach them, you give them reading information, you give them structure. You ask them to repeat it back to you so that, any missing gaps that you didn't clarify in there, but they ask questions, that's great because now you can put it back into that learning material that you can show the next person that you hire on. But you get all this clarity in there so that it's like baking a cake. It's like, here's the instructions to bake the cake. And you thought you had it all prepared, but then the person's like, wait, I have a question. Like, what is the temperature I need to put it at? What pan do I put it in? It's like, oh, yeah, well, duh, I thought that was common sense. Well, here. And then you end up putting it into the SOPs. So you have it detailed out, right? that anybody could do it. Just like McDonald's, right? Like anybody, because they have an SOP in place, you just step in line and you do it exactly how they tell you, and you always get the same results. And so once you have that clarity, that understanding, then you can bring somebody in, you can guide them, you can show them, teach them, have them do it, and then ask questions on it, repeat it back to you, sell you on it, like basically teach you how to do it from their understandings. Then they're really getting it. Then they start, doing it on their own, and you just oversee and, micromanage, babysit for a second. And then after that, once you know that it's going well, then you can just check in once a week type of thing, or whatever it may be at the end of the day, just to verify, cool. Behind the scenes, as they do it on their own, they're getting it done properly and nothing's changing. And so then they start growing with the team. But that's the only way to be able to get people off of, being able to systemize, elevate, and delegate so that you can grow and scale. We have 29 employees at this point, and it's not easy by any stretch of imagination, but we learned over time how to hire on people, how to fire people too. It doesn't feel good, but it's also mandatory, it's needed. And instead of letting people hang out that's not a good fit for too long, that's cancer as well. That could be really devastating to the business. But also not having so much turnover. You want to have slow and steady, like people coming in and staying for a long time. So hiring on slow, but firing fast if they're not picking it up quickly. But you also need to look in the mirror and like, am I guiding this person and setting them up for the most success possible? And if not, then that's just the true reality that somebody else should be teaching this. Somebody else should be guiding that new hire on. And we've learned that over time, and it's been able to get better. But even when you get that perfect person for the job and they're crushing it and you've guided them, just like I told you, if you don't have the right culture, if you don't have the right leadership, the right vision, the right team meetings, then it's going to be hard for people to feel acceptance to that and want to jump in and be a part of that. And you got to treat them like family, because if not, it's like, because it is your family. It's just like your work family, and you spend a lot of time with them. So make sure that you're treating the work family just as much as your real family. That is, of course, if you treat your real family with good kindness and love. So anyway, so I think all of this is just to say, like, you're going to want to systemize and elevate and delegate. You're not going to be the best person. If you're ever putting up your hand saying nobody can do it better than me, shame on you, because there is people that can do it way better than you, believe it or not. And for you to be able to grow and scale this business and help out more people, if you really believe in what you have, you should want to be able to help out more people. You're not going to be able to do that by yourself. So how do you systemize it? How do you elevate and delegate and build a badass team that can actually move the vision further and faster than you ever could? And it comes down to hiring on people. So anyway, that is my 10 pieces that I wanted to share with you guys today. I believe it can be extremely valuable if you take it to heart and not sleep on it. If you guys aren't following me on social media, do so right now. You can go to Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, the business page, it's Credit Counsel Elite. Credit Counsel Elite on IG. Otherwise, on Facebook, same thing, or Brandon Elliott Investor on Facebook. What else? If you haven't subscribed yet to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, what are you waiting for? Do that right now so you get the newest notification every single Monday. Leave that 5-star review after listening to a few episodes every Monday. And then if you are looking for massive amounts of funding, I'm talking up to $500,000. We're talking $2, $3, $4, even $500,000 plus in new capital with interest rates as low as 0%. This can be repeated. It can be repeated every 6 months per person if done properly. So if you want to get more information about it, we have a 5 and a 10-minute video on our website, creditcounselelite.com. That's creditcounselelite.com. It explains more in detail. It will help answer some of your questions, I believe. Afterwards, though, it will also spark some good questions for you to ask. And you could just book a one-on-one call with either myself or one of our assessment coaches to be able to go over your particular situation. Like, what are you struggling with right now? Where are you at? And afterwards, where are you looking to go? If we can understand those two pieces, what's stopping you? Where are you trying to go? Like, where are you at? We can give you that roadmap of what it looks like to be able to get there on your own. Happy to give you that roadmap on your own. Otherwise, we can even explain how we could actually help you to get there sooner than later over time. So pray that really does impact you and you take advantage of that. We have a bunch of gifts we'll give to you as well, just for respecting your time. It'll be about a 45-minute free call, 30 to 45 minutes that I pay for to my team. And so again, if you're looking for massive amounts of funding, look no further. Check out creditaccounts.elite.com. And with that being said, love you guys all so much. Enjoy the Super Bowl or enjoy your following week. And we will catch you next time. God bless. Peace out.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining.